Welcome to Being a Parent, a series of short videos with strategies to help make family life less stressful.
My name's Joshua Harwood.
Hi, my name's Val.
You'll also be hearing from our amazing parent group leaders who tried and tested these strategies in their own homes. This video is about the labels we give to our kids and what the effect of this might be.
We're going to start by thinking back about when we were kids or teenagers, thinking about labels that people gave to us. It might be hard at first to remember one, and then they might start coming back to you really quickly. It can bring up some strong feelings. It might make you feel exactly like you did the first time you got given the label, and that's totally normal and totally okay. So maybe parents at home, maybe pause the video at this point and just write down a couple of labels that you remember from when you were a kid.
As a child, I was often called clumsy, klutzy, silly Billy, silly Sarah. Now these labels have stuck on me by other people, because if something happens, like if I fall over, they would do like a little eye roll and say, "Oh, I trust Sarah. She's always been like that." And even myself, I refer to these labels, because if I drop something, it's like, "Oh, trust me, I'm silly Billy. I'm always dropping things." That's just an example of how labels stick.
One of the labels that I wrote down that I'd been called when I was younger by many different people was messy. And it just got me to thinking about why I feel so defeated if I walk into my child's bedroom and there are, for example, clothes all over the floor. The reason I feel so defeated is because I'm putting my label on them.
So here's one that we all know, naughty. Here's another one that we get a lot, is thick. I'm just going to start chucking them up. Loud, bossy, clever, rude.
So I noticed there that there's some of them have been negative, but actually clever, they might be considered positive labels as well.
Yep. It's just labels. Here's another one. It depends on whether that's a positive or a negative to the individual, but funny, silly. One last one. How about scaredy cat?
Yeah.
So Josh, what do you notice about my stick person?
You've put all those labels on the person, and I actually I can hardly see the person anymore. And yeah, that's actually quite powerful to me, because it's making me think about what the effects of labeling are. One point is that labels stick. They can be self-fulfilling, and children can end up believing them. People often think, well, if that's the case, if it means children do them, I'm going to give lots of positive labels. For example, what if you give the label clever, like I can see up there? What if they fail a test? Does that mean they're no longer clever? Does it mean they always have to be clever? So even these positive labels can stick and cause a lot of pressure.
I remember an incident where my daughter came running to me with her work from school. Said, "Look, I got 10 out of 10 today in the test." And I went, "Oh, clever girl, well done." And so I said that, and then I left it. And then a couple of weeks later, she had another test. This time when I picked her from school, she was very quiet and sad. So I asked her, "Why are you quiet and sad today?" And she said, "Because I'm not clever." I was quite surprised. So I said, what makes you think you're not clever? She said, "Because I didn't get 10 out of 10 in the test today." At that point, I didn't know what to say. So I said, "Oh, that's okay." And then I left it. But after doing the exercise on labeling, I learned it is helpful to describe a behavior rather than just label the child.
I used to say to my daughter when she used to do something silly, "Where's your brain at?" or "Use your brain," or "What's the matter with your brain?" And didn't think that it was labelling, and I didn't think anything of it until the point where she used to hit herself in the head and say, stupid brain, where's my brain at, stupid brain. Or I said, why did you do that? And she said, my stupid brain told me to do it. That is the point where I realised that labelling is really damaging.
What can we do instead then? If we separate our child from the behavior so that what we're talking about is the behavior instead of talking about, giving a label to our child, it takes the label away and it leaves the child with a much stronger self-esteem instead of always being stuck with these labels that have been given to them.
So an example might be you are hitting your brother in an aggressive way, and I would like to see you being gentle with your brother. That's kind of describing it and saying what you might want to see, rather than the alternative label way might be, you're such an aggressive person.
Absolutely. You're so rough. You're so mean. There's lots of labels we can give to something. And if we can instead describe the behavior, that's a lot more effective. If your child was, say, sitting on the couch and eating dinner and they're getting food everywhere, you might, hold back from saying, you're such a messy eater, you're such a mess. And instead you might say, you're getting crumbs everywhere, eat over your plate.
So think about something your child does that annoys you. And without using labels, describe the behavior and state what you want to happen. So you might also want to think about using an I statement.
You might say, I feel really frustrated that you're not listening to me. We're going to be late. I need you to get your shoes on right now.
So I want you just to take a bit of time just to think about that.
If I describe the behaviour that I've seen that I don't like, your clothes are all over the floor, and then say, well, I'd like you to put them away neatly, please. Then I'm teaching my child that basically they have two options. They can live with the mess, or they can change and do something about it. So by enforcing and encouraging them to do that, then I'm kind of creating a different path for my child and making sure that they don't live with that label, which I feel like I've lived with for much of my life.
Paying attention to what we want to see from our children is so powerful.
And separating them from the behavior you don't like keeps everyone's self-esteem intact. So give it a go at home. Describe their behavior and avoid using labels. Thanks for watching.
Thanks very much.
Bye.